Sergeant Okie Dokie, Velasquez, and the Liquid Horse made $19 million in 2 weeks, and this is how. The year is 2016. Sergeant Okie Dokie, Velasquez, and the Liquid Horse, 3 game developers eagerly thinking together to make a new game. The decision is made to make it a multiplayer video game, which is a hard thing to pull off by 3 game developers. However, after putting out the game as a greenlight project on Steam and having early players giving out their feedbacks, Sergeant Okie Dokie quickly realized one fatal flaw with the game. And surprisingly, the fatal flaw actually happened even before anyone played the game. It is the simple fact that how the game looked and how it played were completely 2 different things. It looked like a Roblox type game, but it played like a hardcore military shooter like Arma, and this was obviously not good. Reason is because this can turn players away rather quickly due to the art style not matching at all with the gameplay. So, despite Sergeant Okie Dokie not wanting to do, he turned the gameplay from being hardcore to arcade. I like how even the devs knew that if you look at Roblox for a second, you'll be thinking of a game played by kids. They started doing playtests of the game in a Discord server. Yes, every great things happen in a Discord server. Am I right, fellas? So, every Saturday, they would gather information on player feedback, and they would notice that the players who joined early in the Discord server had questions similar with that of casual audiences. So these normies also flooded the Discord. They also tried to fix any and all problems as soon as possible by using heat map to track problems with the maps and other variables. They started a Patreon so the fans could support them through donations, basically how most indie games would have backers, which at the time generated a whopping $23,000 per month, turning them into Mr. Krabs. However, unlike a lot of other game devs, they never ran away with the money and instead actually cared about people's demands and what they criticized. Finally, they were successful to make the game playable with 100 players in one single match, which now has turned into 254 players in one single match. The game is also heavily inspired by Battlefield, and thus it was also named BattleBit. But only the gameplay and not the coding was inspired from Battlefield, because Battlefield 2042 cannot even serve one match where absolutely no fuckery happens. Shit starts to fly off every time in that game. But the graphics were pretty, right? Well, yeah, it was. But if the core gameplay don't work, then no one wants to play a pretty looking diarrhea. We have enough of that already. That's how the vision of BattleBit slowly evolved, and people noticed that too. So they all just went on to put the game on their wishlist on Steam, and soon enough, the game with its final launch sold over, drumroll please, 1.8 million units, which made the devs, after the cuts and other charges, a whopping $19 million. 19 million mullahs. Okay? Rolls, stacks, money. As the game sold for a base price of $14.99, along with a supporter edition costing only $19.99 if bought separately, which gives the players a lot of weapons, making it also a very good way to basically support the developers. Just like that, these devs made the actual Battlefield game that not only worked perfectly and gave players to play in epic all-out war, but also had modern gaming features like proximity chat, which lets any player talk to their team or enemy if close enough to settle tactics or debates.
The fuck you say to me, you little shit?
Despite all of the success, Sergeant Okie Dokie actually does not recommend any developer to make a multiplayer game as their first game, because in his own words, it is very trying. Meaning, it's a pain in the ass to make a multiplayer game that works fine and dandy. No wonder DICE could never make a Battlefield game working at launch. Those mumbling buffoons don't know what they're doing with millions of dollars. Just like that, hearing player feedback and giving them what they want made these 3 gigachads millions overnight. Well, not really overnight, as this project has been in development since 2016. Almost a decade of taking risks that actually paid off. You love to see it, fellas. Am I right? And at the end of the day, it is really a simple concept to understand. Despite wanting to make the game a hardcore milsim, the devs realized it's not about them. It's about putting out a product and serving the customers. So they gave players the game that the players wanted, and the players gave them $19 million. As simple as that. All of these is from an article called How to Market a Game, and it's linked down in the description. You will see in the article Sergeant Okidoki, one of the 3 devs working on this game, having his own words sharing on the platform. So I would highly recommend all of you to go out there and give it a read. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you buggos on the next one. Subscribe.